going to be interesting to see that clash of user experience here.
Absolutely. Smoke on smoke, neither team finding each other quite yet. Looks like they may run into each other at that bottom bounty rune spot. Niku and GPK both going to have their smokes broken. Nobody getting caught though, everyone going to be perfectly safe, and it looks like it'll be a 2-for-2 trade on the bounty rune. So a nice even start here between these two sides. But while we're around, I suppose you talk.
Silence, the silence.
What's the matter? Afraid of a little concussion?
Where you should too badly on the Ursa. Maybe by level 2, level 3 it does get annoying, right? Having to deal with Firestorm and the Pit of Malice. With some poke damage coming in, it can start to get a little bit slower. Zayat's already just looking for the pulse to get those levels up. On their end of things, not really too much contesting Kataromi can do. Let's go for the Glaive of Wisdom's level 1. Orb Walk attacking is pretty devastating, and you know, that damage stacking up in Zayat's.
It's very annoying for Zayat. He's going to get the pull away eventually, but just has to burn through quite a bit of regen to sustain himself in this laning phase. Meanwhile, bottom lane, speaking of regen being expended, save falling extremely low, will be able to avoid the Astral Spirit of Riddies, although he's going to run into Got the Juice and actually wants to play a little bit aggressive because they do have the creep wave on the way. Very, very confident in his ability to be able to survive any kind of initiation there from Got the Juice and Riddies. And so it seems like, for now, Na'Vi Jr. at the very least down this bottom lane having a pretty good time. Mid lane's going pretty well. I think the off lane's probably going to be the hardest one for Na'Vi Jr. considering you have an Underlord versus an Ursa. But overall, you know, you make the stacks like we're seeing Zayats do now. Chances are you're going to be able to catch up pretty fast anyway.
You should be. We've got some good gears to clear out as well. Probably really don't want to have to give that out to PMA, but he will have recovery if need be to get that aura up and running. Again, the lanes, as you mentioned there for Na'Vi Jr., looking clean. The mid lane starting to pull a little bit ahead for Niku. And it's just down to the fact you go corrosive. Breathe fire is going to be physical. You have 0 armor and tiny. Every single time you breathe fire, it's a ton of HP from GPK. And Niku has a superiority in regen, just by virtue of Dragon Blood being the way it is. The DK is going to be very hard to shove away from lane, even though you do have some good damage there for GPK. I think the one concern is if your lanes do go a little bit too slow on BetBoom. Again, we talked about this in draft, but you're running a Doom and Ursa. Ursa does have some sharper timings, but even the Doom is going to need to sit back, build into some initial items first. So that puts a lot of pressure on GPK to try to make some connections happen. And you don't necessarily have the best supports to kind of rotate into. I mean, you've got Ringmaster Silencer. It's not greatest follow through in terms of control, as PMA is kind of isolated away here.
PMA, all right by the looks of it. I mean, the chase is on from Kataomi. In fact, Kataomi's not giving up on this chase, and he actually gets it. The final right click proving to be enough. Kataomi already swiping himself away 1 intelligence. And a bit of an annoying death there for PMA, because again, this lane's not going to get easier. Like, you're going to be relying on stacks anyway, but you want at least the early XP so you can get those levels in Firestorm to clear out said stacks. It doesn't really feel like that XP is going to be coming very easily at this top lane, especially considering Pure and Kataomi are already out leveling PMA on the Underlord.
It's not going to be a great time. We've seen Underlords play from behind. It's not a very pretty look. Your auras being stalled out is not great. You lacking EXP to get the value points up, and Atrophy is not going to feel great in terms of boosting everyone's durability by dropping damage. So the impact of Underlord is really cut down if you're not having that start that you're looking for. And Pure is off to an amazing start. 23 to 10 in terms of CS, getting that kill for himself, for helping set up that kill up top. Already off to a very good start. Curious to see if he'll just opt for the standard like Battle Fury build-up, or if he's going to go more aggressive, take a quicker blink, and just try to get on top of Fierce a little bit faster. Should just be the Battle Fury, and then the scaling can really come in here for the side of BetBoom.
Zayats, yeah, he kind of got caught off guard there. thinking he wasn't being spotted in that tree line, but they did see him. Of course, Pure says, thank you very much, I'll take the kill.
Okay, I'll admit.
That's a concerning signs considering you're up against an Ursa. You don't want to give this extra gold away. But this off lane of Na'Vi Jr. certainly going pretty horrendously at the moment.
But it is. It's again, probably the weakest lane out here for Na'Vi. The matchups just don't feel great. You're going to have to play catch-up, which means you're going to have to feed those stacks away to PMA, which isn't ideal. You'd normally want to accelerate elsewhere. They are managing to start to find some aggression down bot. They're finding some trade backs here, although Save has to be careful.
Oh,
jeez.
Save! He thought he had it with the Fairy Fire, but he did not have enough. Underestimating the bonus damage from Riddies, and well, props to Riddies. He gets a kill.
First kill on the board for Na'Vi Jr. Not the biggest take what you can get. I think one other consequence of this top lane going slow is the level 6 of Zayats is also going to be stalled out. So your recall plays are going to be... It's not going to be there. Which means, as well, you know, no recall plays, no chakra spam, and no early Fiend's Gate for some global ganks. In fact, speaking of ganks, they'll line up a bit in mid here.
6-minute power rune timings, of course. Kataomi going to try and ensure Niku does not get himself a rune, and he does not. Instead, Regen will be spotted out by Save. We'll leave it. GPK will have the opportunity to go ahead and bottle that up, but he's trying to be as annoying as possible to Riddies, almost actually killing him off with that avalanche. Riddies will make it out for now. And it looks like he'll be okay. Save shouldn't run into him. So they do get away with that regen rune. Of course, you are looking at PMA just clearing out more and more stacks. Negative being, you know, you're not going to have these stacks for the tiny. Oh, excuse me, rather the DK or the gyrocopter is what I was meant to say there, John.
Yeah. And again, like, giving Underlord farm is important to, again, hit that tempo we were talking about, but not having that flash farm lined up for your bigger cores, it just stalls everyone's time. It's not the best bit of news for the side of Na'Vi Jr. They're going to lose access to their Shrine of Wisdom as well. They're not in a position to steal the other side. And they've got the juice alone a tad bit.
Well, they certainly have. Riddies, meanwhile, bottom lane, also in danger, trying to protect his carry. He will survive because got the juice, does kind of intervene. Save barely being able to jump away with that cushion. Everyone falling extremely low down to that bottom lane, but nobody actually ends up dying. Which is probably very good news if you're Na'Vi Jr., because it seemed like they were the ones that were supposed to die.
But they, again, lose access to the Shrines of Wisdom, so both shrines going the way of BetBoom. Faster level 6 for, say, Kataomi and Save. It's going to be pretty massive in terms of getting control of these fights. And denying that EXP for, again, for a hero like Zayats on Kotl, who hasn't had the greatest lane, has to go back and stack. You're just not going to hit those timings you want. And again, no access to recall. Kind of feels pretty bad for the Kotl. And not having that heal with Illuminate without the Spirit Form also just cuts you down. Sure, it's getting confident enough to just run into that fight. He
looks like he's going to find PMA. PMA trying to run. Zayats actually keeps him alive just barely. The blinding light. So that's going to be PMA running away with about 20 HP on the Underlord. The issue is, like, even if he's alive, John, there's no way to farm for him. Got the juice. Oh, no. Well, this is where things get tough. Miero, he's got the Doom up. He just chases down the gyrocopter very quickly. Meanwhile, look at PMA. Kataomi's not leaving him alone. PMA probably going to be giving some more into-way to Kataomi. There you go. There's the third piece of the Kataomi. Which is annoying, because now this Underlord has 363 mana.
Yeah, it's not going to be the best. I think he has a little bit more than that, as he got some installing from the right click, as one more goes.
Well, Zayats also going to be giving some into-way. Kataomi getting very smart.
He is. I guess all he needs to do now is bank on that Tormentor shard to go his way, which, as we've seen, does tend to go towards the most annoying shard carriers possible. A 1-5 start, already looking good for BetBoom, of course, coming out from the lanes. There was a decent moment early on for Na'Vi Jr. They're trying to make an entrance onto Miero.
The cooldown's nice. Echo Swamp setup was perfect as well, and it seems like they will find Miero. Great rotation here from Na'Vi. But with the Corrosive Dragon, they are going to start pressuring bottom tier 1 tower, and they'll force out a glyph. There's too much reason to back off, though. Niku, of course, just going to keep moving in. to that tier 1, and it should just go down. It doesn't seem like there'll be any kind of contest here from BetBoom. I mean, they could try to pressure mid tier 1, but it doesn't really seem like they really have the numbers. So they just kind of let it go.
Nice little take, and that should open up the map just a tad bit more, allow an invasion in triangle to get the opportunity here for the side of Navi Jr., although there are no stacks to really find. You're still playing aggressively in that opposing triangle, clearing out some camps, not allowing any stacks to be built up. They're keeping track of the ancient stacks here as well. And Pure isn't too far off from his full Battle Fury. Just lacking the broadsword and around 600 gold on top of that for the full thing. And that's when, again, the game kind of opens up for the Ursa. You're still going to be waiting for the blink to really get aggressive, but you're going to have the damage to follow through. You're going to have a lot of damage if everyone's kind of clump up, which is certainly a possibility for Navi Jr. if you're not too careful. And for Navi Jr., the aura game is starting to come online. You're getting that build up now for PMA to go into the full mech. He's still wanting his soul ring because, again, he's lacking mana, considering how rough his lane was. You're slowly approaching the point where you will have at least your Elder Titan 6, but Zayats is the one that's really caught in the short end. Still stuck at 4, a long way till his own 6 is up. And that's where the game really just hurts for Navi Jr. Not having access to Spirit Form, not having access to Recall means you're not playing to the strength of this draft. BetBoom still set to run and gun with a little bit of a smoke out for GPK and save. Good scan will spot them out, but Got the Juice is still in the firing line if he's not too careful here.
Oh, he's gonna TP. Very nice TP here from Got the Juice. Meanwhile, mid lane, Niku, he's gonna jump in with his Blink Dagger up now. Karaomi actually not getting stunned here, or rather put to sleep, but slowly is still ticking away. He's gonna survive on 25 HP though, as now GPK comes in and Niku. Oh, Niku's in trouble. Got the Juice, he's gonna try to move in and help out. It's a lot of damage. They'll still lose Niku. They'll get saved as the trade. Not the greatest trade in the world here for Navi Jr., but they'll take it. Still sticking around as well. They want to go for the T1 tower. Got the Juice, he's dropped very low though. Is he just dead? Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's dead. Karaomi. Is he even gonna die for this? He will. Gee, you gotta be happy if you're Karaomi.
But you are. He was the one that was initially jumped. Niku just not having enough to keep that chase down. Shows respect for the potential rotations in, but just chose it a little bit too late. They don't manage to bail out on the disengage, and BetBoom, again, they're just finding everything they could ask for. Tier 1 still stands. They force all of those rotations onto mid. You're buying a ton of space out for Pure to maximize his incoming battle fury, which is there now. So the build up for the Ursa starts to ramp up into that blink timing you tend to see, if not the BKB here. For the side of Navi Jr., the one big thing about that fight is that Zayats did soak some EXP. Right, so he does hit 6. He does have that Spirit Form up, and he will have access to Recall. I don't expect him to have Tormentor access on the side of Navi Jr. If they can sneak that one in at 15 minutes, it could be a massive win to have those 2 Recall charges up. I do like seeing this from Navi Jr. Like you mentioned, Niku has been taking the aggressive stance. He's trying to go out with a smoke with Ridis, just not finding anything for their trouble, but he is the only hero that's ready to play. It's only the DK that's kind of set to make some action happen across the map with his blink, and he is trying his best to ensure that action does happen away from, say, your Gyrocopter and your Underlord. And, you know, he's confident enough that backup is there with a Fiend's Gate, so doesn't quite find anything with his smoke, but the ideas are there. It's just that with that smoke not landing, BetBoom's just working the map better. Pure is farming up. Miero's doing what Miero does best in the jungle, building into that Blink Dagger next, has the Doom ready if they want to force something out. And BetBoom now with bigger smoke, they could catch some big fish if again, you're not prepared here on the side of Navi Jr.
Well, they're barely going to miss out on these stacks being taken in the triangle. 3 or 4 stacks of Ancients now being taken by PMA. Get the Shrine of Wisdom. So the smoke doesn't amount to nothing. They are still getting all these shrines off the map, and it seems like PMA is thinking about jumping in, but GPK, he's the one to jump first. PMA, even though he has been catching up, it's still a very slow process, and that death, it certainly does not help him out very much.
Pure getting the kill as well, accelerating that blink timing. Just about 300 gold off, has pressure onto the tier 2. They're looking at mid as well.
They are looking at mid. Zayat's caught out, will finally go down on the keeper. He's been standing there for the last 5 minutes, just constantly pushing out that mid wave. But they will take him out, no problem. And with that, T1 mid tower also set to fall. So far, it's a relatively clean game from BetBoom, I want to say. You are still having a decent time here for Na'Vi Jr. Like, you can see got the juice and of course, Niku are still farming very well on the DK and the Gyrocopter, respectively. Problem is, though, Pure is just kind of getting out of control, I think. And of course, he only just picked up the Battle Fury a couple minutes ago, so chances are his farm isn't slowing down.
Arrow?
Great smoke. He does smoke break. He's going to be perfectly fine too. They can't kill him that quickly. This could be a horrible fight now for Na'Vi Jr. Lots away from GPK on a Kataomi, just ensuring he makes it out. They did commit global silence, so it doesn't seem like BetBoom really going to continue this fight. Na'Vi, they also committed the dragon form. They've committed the Fiend's Gate, even the spirit form of the Coddle. They are going to try for maybe a Tormentor, but BetBoom, they haven't backed off. They're waiting for this to see if they can jump in and steal it. Here comes BetBoom, got the juice, he's waiting in the corner. Is he in a wrong position? He is not. He's in the prime position. GPK is called out. GPK trying to fight. They'll drop the Wheel of Wonder. It could be exactly what they needed because Pure's in. Pure's in. He cleans up, got the juice. He's got readies. Can he deal with the rest of them? Niku jumps away. He's trying to get out, but he can't make it. It's the thing, like, you can deal with everybody else, but I think Pure's a bit too much already. He will miss out on Zayat there for a moment, but the chase continues. It seems like Zayat should be the 4th death, as they will find him. In fact, they found even Niku, who does end up killing off Save. Yeah, another successful team fight for BetBoom. That was a 4-for-2 trade.
I like the positioning out from Na'Vi Jr. I like the fact that they wanted to take that fight first. You had Got the Juice really hanging inside of that staircase, giving the vision to take the engagement. It's just doesn't break open the way you'd want. You do manage to burst down GPK, but you have to remember, they still had Doom on the side of BetBoom. They didn't have Curious take the front line. He still had Enrage to play with. Even without the global silence, Doom alone is a menace to kind of play into that. And if you're not jumping the back line here, if you're not hunting down Save, the stall out in the death of GPK with the escape pack, it just ensured you had that angle in for Miero and for Pure, because you had to expend a little bit more time, a little bit more of your resources here to just take care of that Tiny, who popped a lot of commitment and just didn't die fast enough for you to clean up there.
Well, they're eventually still going to get the Tormentor anyway. It's slow, and Zayat might actually die for this. He'll heal himself up, he's going to be okay, he'll get the chance as well. Very, very nice for the Coddle. And then they say screw the Tormentor, we want Roshan. Which I tend to agree. I think that's a good choice.
You've got the Ursa, you've got that blink timing up. Take the other map objective off the board, and now you've got to deal with 2 lives on Pure, which it doesn't feel like you're really fully set up to do just yet in Na'Vi. You don't really have the big source of damage yet. Like, having this Chrysalis up on Got the Juice is a nice start. In fact, he's bypassing Yabs just with the BKB, which I do appreciate. He has to be online earlier. He has to have some way of saving himself from, say, the Avalanche Toss and some of these Silencer spells as well. This is going to allow some greater fight presence out for Na'Vi Jr. It's just a matter of, will it be enough? Are you going to be doing enough without the Sidewinder? Are you fine without the extra stats, alt stats that the Axe does provide for you? And so far, it doesn't feel like Got the Juice is tanky enough to dish out the damage he has. It's just a little bit too slow. BetBoom, they go for their own smoke out. Same thing goes for Na'Vi Jr. across the map. Could be an interesting smoke on smoke scenario. However, you are limited by having that tier 1 standing here from BetBoom, so your angles are cut off for the side of Na'Vi Jr.
Na'Vi, they're going to wrap around. They barely avoid BetBoom here in that Radiant jungle, rather. Would be a very awkward fight as well. I mean, they're fighting against an Aegis on Pure. They can't deal with him anyway without the Aegis, let alone with it. Oh, and not Got the Juice. In this case, not the juice, John. Not the juice this time. Oh, do they get the hits? Oh, they do.
Oh.
Pure with the basher. First hit bash. Of course he does. That's a big kill. Got the juice. I mean, he's the guy you're relying on to carry you through this game as Na'Vi Jr., but he's fallen well and truly behind down that top. Here we go for more. Niku. Caught. Global stance to ensure nobody's interfering. Again, Pure on this Ursa, just proving to be absolutely uncontestable.
He's just way too much.
I have
He's too big.
hit him with the empowerment arts. He's being chased, but it looks like he's going to be okay.
Barely enough, but how do you deal with Pure? Right? Like he's 4K ahead in terms of net worth. He's above everyone else. He's gotten shard that he could buy out as well. If not, maybe something like a BKB if he so wishes. But at Basher, like, you can't, we're not at the point where you're kiting around. You know, you don't have something like the Will-O-Wisp yet from Zayats. The Pit of Malice is nice, but you've got the stat res to back you up here on Pure if he does manage to pop his ulti. He's going for his full ads instead to have that little enrage whenever he to have enrage up every single time he was caught off guard. And you're at 7K behind now on Na'Vi Jr. Like again, we saw some good moments in the lane. This all stems back to that top lane weakness. Now, if PMA and Zayat's not really having anything to do, and just bled over, right? Like PMA had to eat stacks. You didn't have that flash acceleration farm for Got the Juice or for Niku. Niku tries to make these plays across the map. He doesn't have enough damage to knock heroes down. So maybe sometimes a little bit too far behind. They haven't been connecting in the space here for the side of Na'Vi Jr. And for BetBoom, you don't even need to be concerned about global ganks. We haven't seen that really align for Na'Vi Jr. in any way just yet. Maybe this time with a smoke, you can get a fight going their way.
They've got Pure. It was nearby. Again, 2 lives though on the Ursa. I think he just man up. See, Pure. He's going to go for a run for now. More heroes incoming. They'll lock him down with the Pure Malice. Pure still running. Here comes the cavalry though. They'll get the first one. Miero's in. Doom is out. They've caught the gyrocopter with that Doom, so it seems like God the Juice just needs to run out of here. In comes Pure again with his secondary life though. Global Silence now committed here by Kataomi. Pure dropping a little bit low. Looking to get the hell out of there, but the Pit of Malice going to lock him down again. Can they kill Pure? He's going to range again in 1. He'll have another chance to come back into this fight. Looks like they're going another time. Pure is going to jump in now to Niku, but he's taking way too much damage. Pure needs a way out. Escape back is there. Can he get away? He's still running. Surely they can kill him. Oh, he still runs. That's unfortunate, John. And you know what's worse? He's going to have the Ags up in 400 gold. But like, if you can't kill him now, once he's got the Ags up, how are you going to kill him?
You just don't. And it's down to the fact that you're able to jump Pure, but the backline's still there. Kataomi with a Solar Crest, that little movement speed you get from the Shine it's kind of stupid how fast this Ursa can go with a phase boots up as well. It's impossible to chase him down. And that's really the kicker here for Na'Vi Jr. Your jump potential is only really onto 1. The spacing from BetBoom has been very disciplined. They keep their backline protected. GPK is willing to jump in to keep that spacing open. And if you can't catch the back, if you can't stop these Solar Crests from coming through, stop the Tame the Beast while you're trying to chase down a melee target, then you don't have clean options here for Na'Vi. At the least, you don't lose too much off that fight either. You did expend some BKB charges here, especially on Got the Juice, but you didn't really bleed back to the side of BetBoom. But that felt like the cleanest opportunity they had to finally get some gold back their way and breaking that pinata of Pure opening. Just not there. Like you mentioned, Mike, full Ags up now for Pure. Shard to come next. And they are setting up through the gate, trying to hunt down bot. Niku would be a very juicy target. They didn't manage to get the jump. They don't have the forward vision to spot him out, though. Scan is good from the side of Na'Vi Jr., so at the least they'll be able to dodge that one out, but you have to find some way to play into these map objectives. The next Tormentor is going to be something you still want to keep securing for Na'Vi Jr. You might want to keep track for Roshan. Minute 50 until we start to find out what timer that will be. And it just doesn't feel like you can even afford to do that in Na'Vi Jr. Your wards, you had some aggressive wards. There's still that one watching the bot pits. You did see them walk by on the side of BetBoom. But not much else to speak of in terms of vision. And sure, the same thing goes for BetBoom, but they're running across the map anyhow. It doesn't even feel like the vision's necessary. It might lead to some cleaner kills if they did have some forward wards that weren't cleared out, but let's see.
RV Junior, they're still hanging directly south of the map, hoping that they could perhaps take a fight underneath their own vision, but they don't. GPK's still hanging around. Maybe they can hope to try and aim this Tiny down. He's gonna blink away. It's kind of the thing, like even with this global kind of strategy, like you've got to be able to react super quickly. There's nobody from BetBoom's giving the opportunities away here to Na'Vi Jr. for free.
They're so patient inside of BetBoom, just kind of testing if anyone would overstep. They were finding some good hiding spots for GPK. Only Mira was showing under the wards. And with Spirit Form down, it's going to be maybe a little bit annoying to get into the next fight. Not the longest cooldown in the world, fortunately. They are in a position to maybe establish some control nearby the Tormentor if they want. Set up for whenever it does respawn. BetBoom, though, just set to go for another smoke themselves. GS is ready to go here on Cameroon. He's got 14 int without his shard, which is kind of insane. He's had to be active around 14 kills to get that done.
Dive are scanning.
Go. They're heading down towards the bottom right corner of the map now, but boom. Oh, they're gonna see Dr. Juice first. That's the one target you really want. And they've got him very freely. Zayat wasn't quite in position to break that smoke, and well, now poor old Zayat's also gonna get caught.
Radiant's current
They feel comfort down to this bottom side of the map because they've got so much vision on Na'Vi Junior's end of things, but they've also got a pretty sneaky ward here from BetBoom that has not been scouted out yet. And that's what's giving the info over to BetBoom to head over to this area every time.
It is just a hard ward to spot out on that cliff. You need to get some daytime vision out just to see it. And they've still got the opportunity to play here.
PMA, he's had a rough time. Run, but obviously, Jonathan, there isn't really much in the way of running from this situation. BetBoom, I mean, it's a pretty dominant game for them so far. 11k advantage their way. Na'Vi Jr. desperately still trying to get back to a stage where they can really contest. We got the juice. He's farming, John. It's just he's still 6k behind Pure. And as we've seen from Pure, like, he's not really afraid of anything anymore, this Ursa. He's just doing everything at this point.
I mean, I do like the itemization from Na'Vi Jr. I think these Ulysses will help to just kind of keep that Ursa up in the air. Stat res doesn't affect Cyclone, so that is one way to kind of try to kite out Pure. Pure will just solo take Tormentor now by himself, as he is capable of, although like he's not. Kind of needs Enrage to be back up, so not gonna have it just yet, but he'll have it soon, you know. 4 seconds, yeah, he'll just go back, do it for the team, or not.
He got Scan.
Okay, Scan is there.
Well, he's all right. He's retreating for now. It doesn't seem like Na'Vi Jr. are gonna quite make it there in time to actually think about going after Pure, and so Pure going to TP back towards his team, so Na'Vi Jr. will have the opportunity now. Mind you, they would probably be under vision, and so BetBoom, they saw Zayat run underneath the observer ward by that Tormentor. They know that they can go for a free rotation. They know they're Tormentor, they're doing the Tormentor right now. We saw this earlier, like it's way worth it just to go for Roshan instead. Who cares about a free shards?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a decent chunk of gold as well with a free shard up, but it's just not enough to change its state of the game. You would have wanted the freebie, I guess, for a bet. Again, get the shard going in Kataomi, see how high that brain drain can go, but not necessary. Again, you have no shard, you have 16 brain drain stacks, which is just kind of insane because it's only 1 per kill now. So it's a ton. You've got the Octarine up for GPK, more uptime in the Avalanche Toss, and more HP to play with. So a lot tankier again on this Tiny. You do like to see as I don't think you've got the damage to even can deal with him at the moment. You're going for the full butterfly on Got the Juice, so it'd be a nice spike for him if he manages to find a farm, along with the Ags being completed now. Just a little bit more output and stats to play with. 11k advantage for BetBoom is still significant at around 30 minutes in. But again, most of that is on Pure.
Speaking of Pure, done. Full Abyssal Blade completed now on Pure. Smoke situation going on here. GPK, he's going to find himself a 2-for-1 special. Notable silence unnecessary, but was committed. And I think with these two supports down, you can at least try to force these buybacks. And that's look like the never mind the buybacks. They're going for more kills. PMA. They missed out on the gyrocopter, but they'll find something just as good. And I think you're either buying back or you're watching 2 Raxes go down if you're Na'Vi Jr.
You don't have many choices. If you at least know Doom and Global Silence is down, there is a play here for Na'Vi if they want to try, but whether or not they even have the damage on Dr. Juice, probably not. Just gonna have to watch as their mid falls, top set to fall as well. They've got the Roche banner to protect these. They'll try for a smoke, but I don't see the angles. Let's see if they manage to work something out.
Alone, they could try for the first life, and that they will, but it's only Niku that's jumped in so far. You are just abusing that rage to not even lose his first life, but now the will of Wonder has to drop. GPK just tossing up the DK, and Niku is down. Pure, he has been put to sleep with the Echo Stop. The escape act is there from Pure, avoiding everything being thrown out by Na'Vi Jr. Pure looking to maybe go back in and give up that first life, but he will not yet. At least they only lose 1 Rax. They do lose 2 T3 towers plus a middle Rax. At least it's not 2 Rax.
It could be worse, I guess. Silver linings here for the side of Na'Vi Jr. Unfortunately, BetBoom does still have that Aegis. Still 2 minutes left. And
how did that Avalanche even miss? How did that Avalanche even miss? That's what I'm very confused about that.
It happens sometimes, Mikey, you know? Just play the game sometimes. Sometimes you just don't throw it in the right way. GPK trying for that gambit one more time, but again, you still have a minute and a half on the Aegis. Pure could still just run up like a maniac after clearing this tier 2 bot. And your options for Na'Vi Jr., it's not that clean. You do have the full nullifier up on Niku. So you can take care of some of the 4 stabs, take care of some of the Solar Crest usage here from the side of BetBoom to save. It's just a matter of patching someone out. Again, for Na'Vi Jr., this play with Coddle Underlord has not really amounted to anything. We've not seen any big Fiend's Gate that leads into a huge amount of success. We've not seen really any sort of red call ganks or even just a spell spam. That synergy with, say, abilities isn't really there, because you don't really have something like the Ember, the Storm, or even like the Kunkka kind of play with deliver cooldowns.
I'm not really concerned at all. Again, he still has 2 lives available here to play with, and PMA is in the middle of nowhere right now on the Underlord. Still 40 seconds for that Aegis to expire. Plenty of time to get through this bottom Rax. If they do buy back on PMA, he does have the Fiend's Gate. He'll jump in onto Pure, but Pure, he's perfectly fine for now. It's actually Niku that's copying too much damage, and he's down. They did commit the buyback on PMA, but Pure's running directly towards it. He wants it. He wants the dieback, but is he going to jump in again? With a Malice to lock him down. Looks like he will enrage out of there. But you've got 40 seconds without a DK. I think BetBoom should feel pretty confident to continue.
They should. No Aegis on Pure. I mean, no hard resets. No GS as well to kind of break this fight apart, but
had a great target in Zayats. You want to get rid of that Keeper of the Light. So pesky trying to push. Zayats, he'll buy back immediately. Jumping in. GPK's in another toss back. This time PMA might be dying back, but he actually gets away. Tree throw not going to be enough. GPK gets the juice, will go. Got the juice rather, but got the juice now in danger as well as he's being jumped by Pure. He's down. Buyback immediately hit by the gyrocopter. He's going to going to look to retreat. Peter Malice to lock him down a little bit, and the chase will be on. BetBoom, I think they're just going to kite out until they have this enraged back up for Pure. In fact, never mind, he's in the enraged. They're just jumping back in. Miro, has he gone too far? The escape back will save his life once again. Meanwhile, Pure taking down Zayat and Reedies. Both supports are down. Triple kill for Pure. GPK in with a huge avalanche on the 3 targets. It's now got the juice. Pure looking for perhaps a rampage in this game 1. Look, the juice is gone. That's an ultra. He's looking for that rampage. PMA trying to run, but Pure surely has it. And he does. Rampage for Pure. He will die in the end. Save trying to get away. It looks like he might make it out. And thankfully for Navi Jr., John, they still have 2 Raxes up.
That they do. BetBoom kind of go a little bit crazy, jumping in the back, wanting to get the end game going by getting a couple of diebacks. Unfortunately, again, they didn't quite have coverage. They didn't have Global Silence ready to go there. They didn't have Doom for the re-engage. And they might overextend just a tad bit. You're still in a really ugly position for the side of Navi Jr. That's 2 diebacks you had on hand. But kill off Pure to 1 time at the least. There's some gold injection that does flow out off of that. It's just not enough to even out the game. 9-32, 24k lead for BetBoom still up. And unlike yesterday, that is not the team fight that turns the game just yet. Like, you know, you're not in the danger zone yet for BetBoom. They will have to start to secure objectives if possible on Navi Jr. Just start to set some vision around the river. Maybe try to ensure Roshan doesn't go away for free. They do have good fights in tight spots here, right? Like, you've got Elder Titan, you've got the secondary strikes call down from Got the Juice. If you can line that up, they can fight somewhere in the pit. Just they don't really have information in the area. And getting the consolation prize in Tormentor just isn't enough to even out, especially with what Pure does with that secondary life, with that safety net. Let's see if they can start to set up for something like that. They do manage to get at least 1 ward out, although that was spotted out quite safe as they do have that gem. They're not going to clear it out fully just yet. They will eventually just remove the vision. And for the side of Navi Jr., and at this point, I'm not sure how you try to simplify this. I would actually say if PMA can kind of work into an Ags, and you can start to surprise them with Pit of Malice Fiendscape, kind of staggering out, that could be one way to kind of try to get some control in the team fights. Just having a lot of area denial to stop the 4 stabs from being too effective. It's just, it's a pipe dream right now, considering how rough this game has been for PMA. He's not at the point where you can even consider something like an Aghanims on your Underlord. And just the 1 Pit of Malice alone hasn't been enough. Especially if Niku isn't around with Nullifier. Like, you Pit of Malice, they get 4 stabs, and that's it. You can't do anything. Like, this Nullifier has to do so much. It has to remove the escape act, it has to stop the 4 stabs, and there's only 1 Niku. You know, there's only the 1 Nullifier you have on hand. So, to deal with these saves, you've got the time just right here in the side of Navi Jr.
That you do. They might actually find Pure. Niku's going to run directly to Miero first. Miero will take a stun. If he's got help around him though, this looks like a bad fight for Navi Jr. They don't know whether they want to really commit here, but it seems like they've decided they will. Miero's still going after Reedies now, but Reedies does retreat. Here comes GPK looking for a pulse back. Reedies finally going down. Global Silence committed now, and this is looking really bad for Navi. Pure's in. Got the Juice is not looking healthy. He's down. GG's called. They've seen enough. There's not a buyback left. There's not a defending. BetBoom. I can't say surprisingly, John, they will take game 1.
That they do. Somewhat, again, reflected by our odds earlier. It was like 1.17 to